Review on the wind generator model number 56235i. It's got a surge top capacity of 2,350 watts with a continuous running, when it's running full, 1,900 watts. If it's on eco, running about 50% power, that's going to give you about 950 watts. So just to kind of give you an idea, when it's running at 50% power, 50% load. The good thing about that eco is when it's running like that, if you've got something that's drawing, say, 400 watts, and you have your refrigerator running and it's drawing a couple hundred watts, and all of a sudden the compressor comes on, there's going to be a surge. And if that surge would go over the total of, say, the running of 950 watts, then what you would get is you would get an uptick in the motor. The motor will it will rise up, and that's okay. These inverter generators, they're meant to do that, and I already experienced that. I bought this on Amazon for $500, and the first thing I did is put oil in it. It's read the owner's manual, broke it in, ran it in for an hour, a little over an hour. I put some load on it, coffee pot at 1,000 watts, and refrigerator, just to make sure that it was running. And I'm happy. It's running good. So it's not even a day old, and it's performing. After I broke it in, running it for an hour, I went ahead and dumped the oil. It was all black. I've got the cover off. There's a cover here, but I went ahead and dumped the oil, and it was all black. Got the newness out of it. I did order this on Amazon, which this is a magnetic oil dipstick. This would replace what comes with it, and there's a little magnet on here, and there was metal shavings on there. I went ahead and actually, you can still see I'm not done wiping it all off. That's metal shavings off the magnet, but once I clean this up, I'm going to replace it. And already put my new oil in there, and I'm pretty happy about it. She's already broken in. So you definitely want to get this. This is only about $10, and all you're doing is giving it some life, more longevity. You want to maybe get a grounding rod, a copper grounding rod, and maybe some wire, about 10 foot long, 8-gauge wire would go. There's a grounding post on the front of it. You want to get an hour meter. The hour meter you would stick up here. A lot of the folks, and I'm going to eventually get one. You remove this. The spark plug is down in here. The generator does not come with oil. You have to have your own oil. But it does come with a funnel, and it comes with an spark plug wrench, and a Phillips screwdriver. And the Phillips screwdriver is to remove these screws, so you can remove this panel to get to the carburetor. Anyway, some of the folks are putting the digital hour meter up here, and it's attached to the spark plug wire, and that way it lets you know when you hit 20 hours. Manufacturer recommendation to change out the oil is every 20 hours on the generator. What's good about under here, the carburetor access, but you can see the little hoses here. You can, when you want to put it in storage, finish up, there's a little wing nut, and you can see other reviews, remove it at the bottom of the carburetor to finish up draining any of the remaining gasoline in the bottom of the carburetor where the float is. And when you do that, the gasoline will drain out of here. It also says the gas tank holds 1.6 gallons, but if you want to drain the gasoline, that you should do it that way. It only holds so little gas. I would just simply pick it up. It only weighs 45 pounds. Turn it, dump it, get rid of the gas, and you're good. If you're going to put it in storage for a long time. Anyway, those are some of the little things about it. It's really a nice little generator. It has two 110s, 120, a 120 for a 120 receptacle, your circuit breaker reset button. These two are for paralleling with another generator. which no wires came with that. That's if you have to order that separately. Here's where you put your grounding wire to ground it. Of course, this is your Eco switch running at 50% power. You have your choke, and you have your turn on and off switch. Right now it's in the off position. When you turn it on, it's all the way this way. So anyway, when you go to start it, there's a little vent up here on the cap. You want to leave that closed when it's in storage, or if you're actually turning it over to change the oil, because if you don't, the gasoline will come out of this vent. So all you do to run and start it is you basically open up the vent, you turn this all the way to on, you pull the choke all the way out, and you make sure the econo is off, okay, meaning when you run this generator you want it to run at full power, and find its little balance before you turn on the eco. And then you go ahead and at that point you're ready to pull the pull cord. Pull it, let it run for about a minute and a half, and then go ahead and turn. Of course, before that, as it's warming up, push in the choke, and then go ahead and then put it on eco. It'll get a lot more quieter, which is fantastic. It's just like all the other inverter generators. And once you do that, that's what I did for my 1 hour break-in time. Just let it. In the last 30 minutes, I went ahead and put some loads on it to test it, to make sure that it would still perform at least with 1,500 watts. Anyway, when you go to turn it off, which was a major selling point for me, and I hate cleaning carburetors. I've cleaned so many carburetors in my life. This is the off. This is the fuel off right here, and then this is the off. So all you would have to do, just like I did, you'd put it to fuel off right there. You just cut off the fuel to the carburetor, and then you let it run for about 3 or 4 minutes until it dies on its own. Then if you have to leave it in storage for months on a time, it's okay. If you have to just automatically kill it, you can just go ahead and bring it all the way to off, and it'll kill the engine, and life is good. Make sure you close your vent, and that's about it. Like I said, it only weighs about 45 pounds. The grounding nut here is only 10 millimeters. There's 3 lights here. I'm going to go over the lights. So this is green. This is for output. It's going to be on when it's running, which is good. It's just telling you green is good. Overload is going to be red, and then this is going to be yellow for oil. The overload, and I've seen it come on, and when it comes on, it's going to blink, and it'll only blink for about a second or two. And all that's simply telling you is, hey, Roger Wilco, we got a little bit of an overload. If it's consistent, if it's drawing more than what it can do, then it's going to continue blinking. It might even shut off, and I haven't tested it that far, but the engine will vibrate and violently, and you definitely want to go ahead and unplug something or turn it off. But nonetheless, if you see that blinking when you go to operate a couple of different things, it's no big deal. It'll disappear. All it's doing is it's going from, if you have it in eco and you got 400 watts running here, and then you need to draw all of a sudden an additional 1,200 watts, say a compressor or refrigerator comes on, it's going to ramp up. The generator is fine. It can go from eco running real quiet to real high, and then once it finds its balance, and that compressor on the refrigerator is already got its surge and it comes back down, then what it's going to do is it's just going to go back into eco mode. It won't hurt it. These generators are meant to do that. Yellow is for oil. What I really like about it is if you have low oil, or if it's too low, it won't even start. So if you don't put enough oil in there and you go to crank it and it won't start, check the oil. When you go to pour oil in it, all you have to do is make sure, just like anything, the oil comes to the threads. It's technically 7.1 fluid ounces, but it's when this is a dipstick. But if you see the oil come to the threads without tilting, and make sure the generator's on a level surface, when you see the oil, then that's enough oil. You don't want to turn it like this and then fill it up and then do that. You don't want to do that. You want to keep it level and that'll be a sufficient amount of oil. Anyway, the oil switch, kill switch, will protect itself from you putting too much or not enough oil if there was a leak somewhere. All right, where else? Gas tank, 1.6 gallons. It says in the manufacturer manual, 5.7 hours, running at 50%, and running at eco load. So I've never tested it, but that's good enough for me. I mean, this is definitely going to save us a lot of gasoline compared to the other generators that just burn through a lot of gasoline, and you only need 600 watts or 1,000 watts at the most. This is where this little generator comes in handy. Synthetic oil, 5 weight 30 is what the manufacturer recommends, and that's what I put in there. And 17.1 fluid ounces. Gas, it says use 87 octane. I would prefer non-ethanol. Maybe with some fuel stabilizer would definitely help the engine run a little bit more smoother. Manufacturer says change oil every 20 hours. The air filter, periodically we're going to want to get to the air filter. You want to take that filter and you want to put it in some oil and you want to squeeze it out real good. Make sure there's just a little bit of oil in that foamy air filter, and that way it will definitely keep any dust out going up inside the engine. See, make sure you're breaking in for 1 hour. Like I said, change the oil. And starting it, we already went through that. Turning it off, we already went through that. And decibels, it's very quiet at Eco. If we're standing here, we can talk, and life is good. When it's running at full load, it's definitely a little bit more. It's up there around the 80, 90 decibels. It's a little loud, but compared to the 5,000 watt generator, this is still really quiet. And even if it's 20 feet away, it's going to be really quiet there. So you can't go wrong. Everything that I've seen, this is a really good generator. It's right there next to Honda, and it's half the price. Even one gentleman on YouTube, he had a number of hours on this on this Win, not this one, I think it was a Win 2000, and it started smoking. And when it started smoking, he called the manufacturer. They took it back. He gave him the tracking number, and they replaced it. They sent him a new one, and that's a testament to this company. So to me, from everything that I've seen, this is a really good generator. And basically, that's it. I just wanted to give you the nuts and bolts of what this is all about. Whether you get the 2350 or the 2000, basically, you're looking at just a couple hundred watts, 1900 versus 1600 continuous watts. So they're all good. They're all going to last. I just saw this and grabbed it, and I was glad that I grabbed it. But this is kind of a newer one, but there's about 4 or 5 different variations of wind generators that are around 2000, and they're all going to do the same thing. So anyway, leave any comments if you have any questions.